All right, so this time we're going to be talking about quadratic equations. And I apologize, I've got a little bit of a nose thing and a throat thing going on because of all the changes in the weather. So bear with me. But we're going to be talking about quadratic equations. So this is good news because this is a big review from Algebra 2. So we're going to be talking about the different ways that we have of solving quadratic equations. So the one that we've been using right now has been solving by graphing. And so that was finding zeros of the function. Excuse me. And so that's where the graph crosses the x-axis. So in this case, the solution would be at -2 and +2. Okay. Oops, sorry, maybe I went a little too fast. And so then the second way we have is by factoring. And so, for example, if I have the equation x squared minus 6x minus 16 is equal to 0. So hopefully we can factor this. So we're saying what multiplies to give me that top number that adds to give me the bottom number. So the top number is the constant, and the bottom number is the middle term. So hopefully you thought that would be -8 and +2. And so that means that this factors to give me x minus 8 times x plus 2. And so the rule of zeros says if two numbers multiply to give me 0, then either the first number is equal to 0 or the second number is equal to 0. And that gives me +8 or -2 as my two possible solutions. Notice it's a square function, so the degree is 2, and we found our two complex roots. All right, so I want you to take a look at this example and see if you can solve it by factoring. So go ahead and pause the video and give that a try. And so what we would do is take the big X and we put that last number at the top and the middle number at the bottom, and we say what multiplies to give us 21, that adds to give us 10. And so hopefully you got that it was 7 and 3. And the order of this doesn't matter. So over here we could say that we have x plus 7 times x plus 3 is equal to 0. And if you wanted to check, you could always FOIL or do the box method just to make sure. So the rule of zeros says if I'm multiplying two numbers to give me 0, then either the first number is equal to 0 or the second number is equal to 0. So on this side we get x is equal to -7. And over here we get x is equal to -3. And you could plug both of those in to make sure that the function does give you 0. And then also notice my degree is 2, and I found my two solutions. All right, so the third method that we have for solving a quadratic equation is completing the square. And so completing the square, we're going to start with the same problem that we did on the previous slide. And so we should know the final answer. We found this already, so we're going to try it a different way. So this time we're going to get the x's by themselves by adding 16 to both sides. And if you notice, I left a space for a new constant because I want to make the left-hand side a perfect square. So the way I find that constant is to take that middle term, put it over 2, and square it. So that gives us -3 on the inside, and -3 squared is +9. So if I add 9 to the left-hand side, that makes it a perfect square, but I also have to add 9 to the right-hand side. Now you can do the big X to figure out how this factors, or you can recognize that it's always going to be this number inside of the parentheses. And so, whoops, went a little too fast. So it's going to be x minus 3 times x minus 3, or you could call it x minus 3 squared. And then 16 plus 9 is equal to 25. So now that I have that as a perfect square on the left, we can take the square root of both sides. And again, anytime we do a square root, a fourth root, any sort of even root, you always have to do plus or minus on one of the sides. So the square root and the square cancel, leaving us with x minus 3. And then the square root of 25 is 5. So that means that either x minus 3 is -5 or x minus 3 is +5. The order of that does not matter. So then if we add 3 to both sides, we get two solutions, x is equal to -2 or x is equal to +8. So just like we saw on the previous slide, we get the same answers. So I apologize for that little blip right there. My thumb hit the wrong button. So we're going to be talking about completing the square. So now that you've seen it, we're going to start doing these ourselves. I was going to say do it yourself, but there is a little bit of a kick to this one that's a little different. So I'm still going to get the x's by themselves by subtracting the constant. And so I'm going to have x squared plus 5x is equal to -20. So then completing my square, I'm going to get 5 over 2 and square it. So that gives me 5 squared is 25 and 2 squared is 4. So this is a little bit different than what we were used to on the previous slide because we did get a fraction. So I'm going to add 25 over 4 to the left, and I'm going to add 25 over 4 to the right. So on the left, here's the beautiful thing, is that this number inside of the parentheses is going to be what I'm going to use to factor. So I don't have to factor with this crazy fraction here. So I'm going to get x plus 5/2 squared is equal to, now you can do this in your calculator, or you could do it to the side and we get something like -80 over 4 is equivalent to -20. And if I do plus 25 over 4, that's going to give me -55 over 4. Okay, so now I have a perfect square equal to a number, so I'm going to take the square root, and because that's an even root, I have to do plus or minus. And so what I'm left with, on this side I have x plus 5/2. On this side I've got plus or minus. Now I don't know the square root of 55, but I do know that the square root of -1 is I. And I know it's a funny looking I, but I'm trying to make sure it doesn't look like a 1 or a plus sign. And I also know that the square root of 4 is +2. Okay, so think of when we have that square root of -55, think of it as the square root of -1 times the square root of 55. And so we get I root 55. Okay, so then I'm going to get the x by itself by subtracting 5/2. And the good news is I have a common denominator. And so we get x is equal to, and we get -5 plus or minus I root 55 all over 2. So again, the degree of my polynomial is 2. So I would expect to get 2 solutions. And I did because I have the solution of -5 plus I root 55 over 2. And I have the solution of -5 minus I root 55 over 2. Now, we don't have to write them out separately. I just wanted you to see on this one that there are actually 2 solutions. All right, so let's try the next one. And if you'll notice, we have an issue because we have this 3 in front. And with that 3 in front, we're never going to be able to get a perfect square. So we always want the x coefficient to be 1. So we're going to divide through by 3. And if you don't mind, I'm going to add that 2/3 to the other side at the same time. So I get x squared plus 1/3 x is equal to positive 2/3, because I would add 2/3 to both sides. So again, this is slightly different than the examples that we've seen because now I have a fraction in the middle instead of a regular number. So normally I would take that fraction and put it over 2, but that looks kind of weird here. So I'm going to put it over 2 over 1 and square it. So do you see that it's really 1/3 times the reciprocal, which is 1/2, meaning putting something over 2 is the same as multiplying by a half. So this is going to be 1 over 6 squared. And so that gives me 1 over 36 because 1 squared is 1 and 6 squared is 36. So I'm going to add 1 over 36 here. And I'm going to add 1 over 36 here. Okay, anything you do to the left, you got to do it to the right. So again, another beautiful thing that I don't have to factor with all these fractions. I don't want to do a big X with 1 over 36 and 1/3. I can use this 1/6 in order to factor. So this side gives me X plus 1 over 6 squared equal to, and again, if you can plug this into your calculator, totally do it. If not, I noticed that I can multiply the top and the bottom by 12, and I get 24 over 36 plus 1 over 36 gives me 25 over 36. Okay, so now I have a perfect square on the left, and I'm going to take the square root of both sides to make that square go away. And I've got to do plus or minus on the right-hand side. And so I get X plus 1/6 is equal to, and then I have plus or minus, and the square root of 25 is 5, and the square root of 36 is 6. So that was actually really nice. So if I subtract 1/6 from both sides, I'm going to end up with, I've got X is equal to negative 1/6 plus 5/6, and I have X is equal to negative 1/6 minus 5/6. So on this one, negative 1 plus positive 5 gives me positive 4 over 6, which if I reduce the top and the bottom by 2, I get X is equal to 2/3. And over here, if I keep change, negative 1 plus negative 5 gives me negative 6. And then negative 6 divided by 6 gives me negative 1. All right, so we're going to move on to the next one. So this is my last completing the square one, so hopefully we can fit this in on the first video. So hopefully you recognize I have this 4 in front of my square. Don't worry about the fact that it's an A, that doesn't matter. So I'm going to get A squared plus, and this reduces to 3/2 A, and then I'm going to add this over, and that's equal to 3/4. Okay, so if you're feeling confident about this, go ahead and pause the video and see if you can get the same answer. If you're not feeling confident, you can try and work it along with me. So remember we said we're going to take the middle term, put it over 2, and square it. And so 2 is the same as 2 over 1. So this is the same as saying 3/2 times the reciprocal, which is 3/2 times 1/2. And so we get 3/4 squared. And so 3 squared gives me 9, and 4 squared gives me 16. So that means I'm going to add 9 over 16 to the left, and I'm going to add 9 over 16 to the right. So on the left-hand side, again, beautiful thing, especially with these fractions, is I could use that 3/4 and say that I have A plus 3/4 squared. By the way, had this said minus, this would also be minus. So this is squared. And then here again, if you can do it in your calculator, go for it. But if you can't, that's okay. So I've got 12 over 16 plus 9 over 16 gives me 21 over 16. Okay, so now I can take the square root of both sides, plus or minus. So on the left, the square root and the square cancel, giving me A plus 3/4. On the right, I don't know the square root of 21, and I don't have any good factors to pull out, but the square root of 16 is 4. So to get the A by itself, we're going to subtract 3/4 from both sides. And so we get A is equal to, and since I have a common denominator, I'm going to say negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 21 all over 4. So again, I have a square and I have 2 complex roots. In this case, they happen to be irrational. All right, so in the next portion, we're going to start talking about the quadratic formula.